What's up everyone, Sean Count Blackearth here today doing a different type of video. This is something I might do once a month called Jams I've Been Jamming. Basically, it's just shit I've been listening to that I may not be talking about because I didn't buy it recently or because I'm not reviewing it or something like that. So there's going to be 5 CDs, 4 LPs that I'm going to show and talk about. Nothing really new here. That was weird. I don't know why that happened. Let's try to fix that real quick. So other than outside forces of nature shutting my fucking lights off, which, weird, let's get into this. So one of the first CDs I'm going to show that I've been listening to a lot of lately, usually in the spring and fall I listen to this the most, and goddamn, this album is great. Marsh Dweller with The Weight of Sunlight. Holy hell, this is probably one of the best melodic black metal albums ever. And I know that's a bold statement. I absolutely love this fucking record. This is like just absolutely beautiful fucking harmonizations, solos, fucking just great vocals, highly emotional, highly impactful riffing. There's nothing to really compare it to other than something else I'm going to show, which I'll say right now is Obsequii. If you like Obsequii, I can see you liking this to some extent because like the more melodic black metal traits of their music definitely fall in line with Marsh Dweller. And the beautiful thing about this record is it's relatively short and to the point. There's acoustic guitars, not a lot of folky sort of instrumentation going on, but it just truly provides this kind of cold atmosphere that is unlike any other. And honestly, the production value doesn't harm it at all. It's very clean, but in my opinion, it works to its favor because it helps provide a different sort of atmosphere. So if you haven't listened to The Weight of Sunlight by Marsh Dweller, get into this. One of the absolute fucking best bands out there, in my opinion. Absolutely love this. Put out by Iowa's Recordings. I believe Bindroom still has copies. If not, I'll link the Iowa store down below. But definitely check out Marsh Dweller. Now, these next 2 CDs I'm going to show at once because it's kind of like a combo, so to speak. If I listen to one, I listen to the other immediately after. Drudkh with Forgotten Legends and Autumn Aurora. First 2 Drudkh albums, absolute fucking atmospheric black metal classics. If I had to pick that for more, it is the debut Forgotten Legends. There's something absolutely magical about the atmosphere of this album. It's with both of them specifically, but I mean, this first one though is just, there's something about it, man. I don't know how to like really verbalize what it is that makes this so fucking special, but there is like this sort of repetition to early Drudkh that works so well. The drums are very straightforward. There's nothing fancy at all about any of the shit that's happening, but it's slightly melodic, so it's not like the type of atmospheric black metal that's just solely relying on having a dense sound of blast beats and fuzzing guitar. These albums actually utilize way more than that, and in my opinion, it's honestly really fucking cool. There's this true like autumn sort of atmosphere you get from both of these records, and the thing is with these 2 in particular is while on the later records they were definitely able to capture like an autumn-esque atmosphere, this is just absolutely perfect between samples of rain and even just like these really long hypnotic passages have this very melancholic sort of droning to it, I guess you could say. Just full of melancholy, full of sadness, full of beauty. As I've always said, there's like a beauty in sadness, and these guys definitely show that. It's not DSBM by any means, but if you're into DSBM and for some reason you don't know Drudkh, maybe give this a shot. But Forgotten Legends, fucking great shit put out by Season of Mist Underground Activists. I can't remember the label that first put these out originally. I know Northern Heritage, if I remember correctly. I feel like that's incorrect, though, for the vinyl of Blood in Our Wells, but... And that is Autumn Aurora. Check those fucking albums out if you haven't. Amazing shit. This next CD is something related to a video that'll be coming up hopefully next week once I'm done editing it. It's a very long video, but I interviewed Alex from Black Tongue. So, Black Tongue, The Unconquerable Dark. I interviewed him, went fucking awesome. Thank you very much, dude. If you see this video, I greatly appreciate you taking your time to do that. And sorry for the technical difficulties that happened early on. But this album is so fucking good, and it disappoints me as just discarded as another deathcore album or just as another down-tempo band, because The Unconquerable Dark is so much more than just your run-of-the-mill deathcore or fucking down-tempo or whatever. It pisses me off when people simply discount this album as that, because this is borderline a doom and sludge metal record with some deathcore breakdowns thrown in. There are songs on here like Plague Worship and In the Wake of the Wolf that are just so fucking doomy and just full of blackened sludge that you could almost fool someone into thinking that this wasn't a band that made a record like Born Hanged or Falsifier. This is so far removed in many ways from what early Black Tongue sounded like that it's almost mind-blowing. And I really wish more people would give this a chance, and this is my way of telling you to give this fucking album a chance. There is a lot of black metal elements, especially on this song that's in French. I can never say the name of that goddamn song, but that one right there. But there's black metal elements. Plague Worship just has this absolutely massive, apocalyptic sounding just intro of just pure fucking doom metal. And then the way the song progresses, it gets more aggressive, it gets more sinister, it gets more evil, it gets dirtier and just more fucking filthy. And that is what makes this album so damn good. If you haven't listened to The Unconquerable Dark by Black Tongue, you are fucking up big time. Go get yourself a copy of this. Give it a listen. Link to a song will be in the description. I had to take my beanie off because my dome was sweating. I almost said my doom was sweating. Jesus Christ, I'm losing my fucking mind. Anyways, next album. This is... Fuck, I bought this probably 6 years ago, maybe 7. I know it was very early on when I started YouTube. Woodtemple, Call from the Pagan Woods. I've been spinning the fuck out of this. And realistically, a lot of Graveland. But I'm going to save the Graveland shit for another video. If you don't know Woodtemple, Woodtemple started as a one-man band from Austria. And basically the whole point of Woodtemple was to worship at the altar of Graveland. And that's what this is. This is Graveland 2.0. It's nothing original, it's nothing fancy, but if you are into like the demo era of Graveland up to Immortal Pride, like the first like 4 full-length albums, and like the Celtic Winter, In the Glare of Burning Churches, shit like that, this is definitely for you. Just very rhythmic pagan black metal. There's a lot of keyboards that carry throughout the song, so like almost like the Valkyrian choir effect that Graveland has really kind of became known for. And that's something that I love so much about Graveland. And what's cool now actually is Rob Darkin is part of Woodtemple Live, and I think he does some shit in the studio. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure he plays bass live. But this album is fucking fantastic. It's pretty cheap on Discogs. I would highly recommend it. Put out by No Colors Records. Just the perfect autumn atmosphere on this fucking album, man. Um, as expected, with no colors, the flimsiest jacket you could ever fathom for a record. But I kind of like that with black metal now. I like very basic, stripped down packaging for the most part. Because that's what black metal is really supposed to be about. Love the very DIY nature of this lyric sheet. As you can actually see where they cut the fucking paper on it. And the record is a fairly thin, but it sounds decent black vinyl. No real gripes or anything with it, except I think it's kind of odd on the last track. And this is a jam-packed record. I mean, this is very, very long. Just look at, there's like no run-out groove, which is interesting because when I play this LP, it just spins forever on side B. But, yeah, if you haven't listened to Woodtemple and you're a fan of Graveland, fucking get on it. Don't be a bitch. Check it out. Up next is a compilation I picked up earlier this year that I've been listening to quite a bit recently. Black Witchery, Evil Shall Prevail. This is the demo compilation and features tracks with the split from Conquer. The interesting thing about the Evil Shall Prevail demo is this isn't what you expect out of fucking Black Witchery. It's like Nordic style black metal, like Norwegian second wave inspired black metal, which is fucking sick. And I didn't know, like, before I got this, that they really sounded like that. Because honestly, I never bothered to check out the early material from Black Witchery. I've only listened to the full lengths. I have Desecration of the Holy Kingdom, Upheaval of Satanic Might, and that's CD. I also have, what the fuck is the name of that album? Why can't I not remember it? This fucking one, Inferno of Sacred Destruction, which is probably my favorite full length from them. But the early demos, man, this was some good shit. Like, very inspired by like the Dark Throne Norwegian black metal sound, a little bit of mayhem in there. Fucking great stuff, like Evil Shall Prevail, Summoning of Infernal Legions. Oh, this is so good. Hellstorm of Evil Vengeance is on here, which is the split with Conquer that they released. Summoning Infernal Legions EP, which is another fucking fantastic EP. Once when you can start to hear them lose the Nordic sound and start to push further into the blackened war metal territory of just like total blasphemy worship. And then you have a Sarcophago cover and the Hellstorm of Evil Vengeance alternative versions. Cool shit. Really, really awesome fucking release. Done by Nuclear War now. Love that gatefold. Only thing I wish is this had the booklet that was supposed to come with it, but they only printed enough of them or some shit like that for the diehard. Which annoys me. This is just the plain black vinyl version. I would have loved to have the booklet to read through that, but whatever. And then you also get this awesome poster with the old Black Witchery logo. Perfect for Halloween or whatever. I don't know. I would just love that old fucking logo. Although I do prefer the new Black Witchery logo. But if you haven't listened to this, it's definitely worth a few bucks if you see it. It's a fucking fantastic compilation. If you want to check out the early material from the more black metal shit, you can do that. You also have the war metal sort of shit from the, like, as I said, the Conquer split. Most people already know what Black Witchery sounds like, so I'm not going to get too into the, like, fucking modern shit, but you should know it. You should love it. I've been jamming this a lot lately. Alright, so this next LP is something I showed in my $20 spin unboxing from when I won the ABC Metal Vinyl Contest. Obsequiae, and this is Era of Vernal Tombs. I said in the video that they were like medieval sort of black metal and I didn't know much about them. I was going off of how much people love them for me to like add this to my cart on a $20 spin. And holy shit, Dick, I am glad I did that because this album is incredible. very melodic black metal, as I said, kind of like Marsh Dweller, that sort of shit. Or if Nichechwan. Nichechwan. Is that how you say it? Nichechwan? Why can't I remember how you say the name of that band on Binder? I think it's Nichechwan. But I feel like I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm losing my goddamn mind. Anyways, if you're a fan of that band and you're a fan of like Marsh Dweller, if you've already heard them, you should definitely be into this, except this is more medieval sounding. They have a full-time harp player, which is really fucking cool and creates this extremely unique sound. Like, if there was ever a album that sounded like it was medieval, truly medieval, and it's not called Dark Medieval Times, because that album does as well. Any other album, if you told me that sounded truly medieval and it sounds more medieval than Dark Medieval Times, I would say you're nuts. But this one does. This sounds like it was from back in those times, and it's so fucking cool. I don't really know too much else on how to describe this other than it's just so beautiful. The first time I listened to this, I was just absolutely like floored. I just sat in my bed going, what the fuck? How have I let this slip by me for so many years? It's that good. Printed lyric sheet, beautiful painting on one side, members on the other. I believe Tanner Anderson is the man behind Celestial, the atmospheric, like folkish funeral doom project that Binder released a few things from Black Vinyl, which is another amazing band. Sadly, I don't own anything by Celestial. I remember discovering them when I got my first computer years ago, surfing, I think it was Metal Archives, and I looked them up and I fucking loved what I heard. So I need to pick up some of that shit. But if you're into like Celestial, then you kind of know like the natural atmosphere that this album is going to give you. I don't know if I showed the back, but there's the back. Put out by 20 bucks a spin. Regardless, definitely pick it up. I'm going to be picking up the debut CD, which I know is available from Binderoon. Go pick that shit up if you want it. Highly recommend it. And last but not least, more of shit that reminds me of Graveland. Some people may raise an eyebrow when I say this, but fellow Polish band, much bigger now than they were when they released this. Behemoth, 7th, Storming the Baltic. One of my favorite black metal records of all time, man. This shit is so good. It definitely has like the Scandinavian sort of black metal sound. Definitely heavily inspired by, of course, Darkthrone, Mayhem, Burzum. A little bit of like a Satyricon vibe I get from this, especially of like the more Dark Medieval Times sound. But Behemoth definitely had like their own sort of sound back then. I feel like Poland as a whole did, where it was slightly more rhythmic and it felt way more pagan. And that's what you get on this. This is like a super pagan atmosphere to this, but it's not like pagan metal. This shit is fucking great. Probably my favorite. Hidden in the Fog, everyone should know that. Ancient, Wolves Guard My Coffin, one of my absolute favorite black metal songs ever. The riffs on that are just absolute genius. But on the back, big difference between Nurgle then and Nurgle now. And then Ball Ravenlock. And this is just printed inner sleeve. Got this in the Historica box set that's a bootleg, but I don't give a shit if it's a bootleg. Eat my ass. I'm glad I got it. But yeah, if you haven't listened to this and you're like one of those people that's like, oh, I think The Satanist is their best album, and you haven't heard this, shut up. Just shut up. The Satanist is one of the most overrated albums of the last 20 years. This is where Behemoth is at. This and The Forest Dream Eternally, Grom, From the Pagan Vastlands, Bewitching of Pomerania. I can't think of the name of the other demo they did. Just all fantastic material. And this album, their debut full length, one of the best black metal albums ever made, in my opinion. Top 20 for sure. So if you haven't listened to this, go check it out. Behemoth, 7th, Storming Near the Baltic. And that is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And I'll see you in the next video, which will be a review of Hateful Transgressions, Meaningless EP. So, yeah. See you next video. Buy my shit.